Hi, my name is Art, and I'm going to show you how to install your new Elfman Tactical double trigger into your AR-15. First step that we're going to do is we're going to put the trigger guard on your lower. Okay, the trigger guard has a spring-operated pin, and that's the first step. I take an Allen wrench, so I have this little Allen wrench. I put it in place, and then you just push down on the little spring pin and pop it in place. Okay, once you've done that, we're going to do the second step, and this is the most critical step. This is a nylon bushing, and it's 5/8 long, and it is a 1/2 inch wide. Okay, and this is what we're going to back up the lower with when we pound in the roll pin. If you do not, you will break the other side of you could break the other side of your lower off, and then you'll be very aggravated. Okay, so I have hemostats. You can use a pair of pliers that are small. And this is the little roll pin that came out of your other guard for your trigger on your gun. Okay, so I want to put it over here where it doesn't bounce as bad when I do this. Okay, you want to make sure that this is in place completely. And you're going to start by putting it in place. Okay, once you think it's in good enough, you can remove your hemostat. Now again, you're going to make sure that your guard is all the way in place, and you're going to make sure that your bushing is in place. Now I'm going to attempt pound that to where it's about flat, and then I use an 1/8 inch punch, and I'm going to pound that in the rest of the way. And all I'm trying to do is get it down about a 1/16 so that it's even on both sides. I'm going to go just a little bit more, and be careful not to hit your gun wrong. Okay, so right now I'm about centered, and my guard is installed. Okay, so I don't need this now. I'm going to take the new trigger, and it's going to have a spring already installed, and I grease it up. This is AR-15 grease. You want to use any high quality grease, not oil. Okay, if you don't grease up the trigger and the disconnect good enough, it could stick and cause your gun to double fire. And most guns that do double fire either have a worn out disconnect, or it was so dirty that it actually stuck and the gun double fired. So if your gun ever double fires, you need to clean this out and make sure your disconnect is okay. Okay, now I have a 5/32 steel pin, and this is a slave pin. So I'm going to put it inside here, and I'm going to put it through the disconnect. So I'm going to push down, move it back and forth until it goes in place. Okay, this has to be free to move, and it's greased up, and so my pin is in place. It's going to make it easier for me to install this. Okay, now I need your old trigger off your gun is a spring you're going to use. So you're going to pull this spring off of both sides of the little bushings and take it off your trigger. Okay, now the same way, it goes under the front of your new trigger. You're going to pop it up over the bushing, and you're going to do the same thing on the other side, which you just did. Okay, so it should look like this, and it make sure, like I said, it was free, and this is now ready to install in the gun. Okay, so now we're going to put this in the lower. We just drop it in. Okay, we're going to take the pins that come with your trigger set, which is, your stock pin. Okay, now you're going to look, and this spring isn't too hard to push against, so you're going to look and make sure that it's lined up to where you can see that pin, and you're going to push it in. Now, it's going to push the pin out the other side, the slave pin. So you're going to just take that pin out of your way now, and now you're going to wiggle this back and forth until it goes in. And it did. It's flush. It went in, and that makes it really easy to put in. You make sure that it feels free. Okay. Now we're going to take and put the hammer in place. So this is your stock hammer, and you're going to put it. You're going to put it from the top. It's going to go on both sides of the new trigger. You're going to take your pin again that came with your old trigger. And now you're just going to line this hole up, and it's not that, it takes a little muscle, a little bit of getting it lined up there. So I'll take it like that, and I get it to go in. Once it starts to go in, now you want to look at the other side, make sure it came through right, and so you're just not forcing things and hitting them with a hammer. Alright, so right now that's in, and you want to cock it back, you want to make sure that it's free, things are working. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to install the safety gun. Okay, your hammer has to be cocked back. Okay, you cock it back, you put your safety in place. You'll have to wiggle it and get it into where it's sitting flush, okay? Now there's a little hole on this side that we are going to put the pin for the safety in, okay? And that is the little pin we took out earlier, okay? So that goes point down in, and there's a little spring you can push it with, all right? And you're just going to set it, I like to set it on this side. When I put it, I'm going to do that so it stays up. Now see, we don't want it to fall out of place though. So actually, that's fine. Okay, so now we take the spring, that's great, and we put it inside the handle, okay? And that's how it's going to line up, and we want to make sure that this is up so it's going to stay in place, okay? We're going to take an Allen wrench. This is a 3/16 Allen wrench. Put it on the Allen screw, and then put it up inside. And hopefully I'm in place, which doesn't feel like it. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so now you're going to keep turning it until it seats and it's firm. Okay, at this point now we want to make sure, we're going to check it. We're going to cock it back. Okay, and it's off safety. Now we want to put it on safety and make sure it does not fire. Okay, and take it off safety and then it fires. Okay, so now we can cock this back on the lower, and we're now going to take the upper. You don't have to. Okay, and we're going to put this. No, first we got to take the takedown pins and make sure they're pulled out far enough. We're going to take your upper, put it in place, push in your takedown pin, and you have now installed your Elfman double trigger into your AR-15, and it is ready to fire at this point. That's it.